Damn.
Alright, so Sonic 3. We need to... Did we like it more than the first two?
So, I don't remember seeing the second one.
Okay, I saw the second one. Second one was better than the first one. I think that because Shadow was so, like, well written kind of in the whole thing, I think that Sonic 3, and the lack of human plot lines, I think Sonic 3 is the best Sonic movie so far.
Yeah, I agree with you on the fact that, like, because Sonic 1 was so focused on Tom.
Yes.
And it's like, I don't care. I'm here to see Sonic.
No, I don't care about Tom. I don't care about Wade. I don't care about Maddie. I kind of care about Robotnik.
I care about Robotnik. I don't care about Sonic's connection to Tom.
No, I don't either.
Like, they tried really hard to establish how much that meant. And it's like, dude, he's a fucking alien. Like... you're trying to have a little Superman story here where they find him on a farm and, you know, they teach him how to be a good person. And it doesn't really work because, like, in the third movie, they're like, what if you never had a family? And then it cuts to Shadow. But then at the end of it, Shadow is literally convinced to be good after one fight with Sonic where Sonic's like, I'm not going to senselessly murder you.
Yeah, I mean, I do appreciate that, like, it kind of showed, it did highlight that Sonic got really lucky with, like, you know, being alone, that, like, after Long Claw, he did find a connection to people, and he, like, his little family, and the whole time, Shadow has really just not had anything going for him. And that it was just kind of like, yeah, why would he care about Earth?
Yeah.
Because it really highlighted... I mean, in the first movie, we saw how much Sonic cares about Earth. That he loved Earth in a way, but he was, like, not able to connect with Earth until he finally was able to. And
he was like a
there.
fan of Earth on the outside, looking at, like, culture, and, like, the cave represents that with all the little artifacts he has.
Yeah.
And,
like, he was an observer more than anything.
And then the first movie, he, like, becomes an Earthling and gets his connections and the people he cares about.
I also, one thing that I will point out, they did, around the second movie, just decide that no one's bothered by him being a weird little blue alien. Before that, they were, like, disguising him and being like, he's got a condition. Now he's just walking around, like,
it's really funny. Like, there was the moment when, like, Tom is getting taken away on the stretcher, and Sonic, Shadow, and Tails are just standing there like, what are we gonna do? And, like, I'm watching all of these, like, people walk around them, and I'm like, I would be like, oh my fucking god, what is that thing?
Things here.
What the fuck?
Yeah, no, because they are really cute. They also have gotten cuter.
Yeah. Tails was adorable.
Tails was super cute this movie.
It was like...
I think they made his head shorter. I feel like his head is shorter. Because I feel like that's, like, the thing that makes Sonic not quite as cute. His head isn't as round.
Yeah.
But, like, Knuckles has a completely round head. Knuckles is adorable.
He is adorable as well in this.
And I'd say Shadow was more... I really liked how they designed Shadow. Shadow looked awesome whole movie.
Shadow did look fucking awesome.
Especially super...
We were popping off when he, like, first started skating across the water.
Oh my god, yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the actual movie itself.
Yeah.
They visit the cave. And I think starting off the movie at the cave... Like, it connects it back to the earlier movies.
Yeah.
And also, it does a lot where, like, it kind of tells you what this movie's going to be about. It's about family. It's about your connections.
And how important they are.
Yeah. And about, like, what makes you who you are. And the main theme of it is that you always have a choice to do the right thing.
But also, we kind of saw everything that was taken away from Shadow that Sonic has. Like, we kind of got that, like, real... established in the first two movies, but, like, really kind of hammered in the beginning of this, that they were like, just that they seemed so happy and together and Shadow.
I think that's the opening scene when the tank fails, everything drains out, and he's teleporting around beating up these guys. And so immediately I was like, oh my god, he's using chaos control.
Yeah. Awesome.
Which was crazy because he didn't have the Master Emerald.
No.
Which I was a little confused about.
Didn't fully understand, but...
But I was down for it. Then he, like, teleports out to the water and skates out to Tokyo, and that sets up the first major fight. And that fight was awesome.
Yeah. I really do appreciate that they had it so that all three of them could not beat Shadow.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
they had him as an enemy, and then they were established that they could not beat him. They were not stronger than him. Like, because I like that they didn't make Sonic or Knuckles or Tails be, like, super OP.
Yeah, I like that they made Shadow OP. And I like that he stayed OP. Like, he stayed kicking their ass for the whole movie up until the ending.
Because, like, in the games and even in the show, they're often, like, Shadow is the ultimate life form. He's so fucking strong. But then, like,
but then you beat him, like, 5 times in the game.
Yeah, because you have to, like, you can't
it's a
just
game.
Because either you're, like, playing, you can play as, or, like, just in some way, like, he can't be just unbeatable.
Yeah.
But in the movie, they were like, yeah, he's unbeatable. He's way too strong.
And then, so Sonic Team gets their ass kicked in Tokyo in one of the coolest fights. Shadow does like an Akira slide off of a building and then jumps off the motorcycle and like choke slams Sonic.
They made it so bad.
The action in this movie is top tier.
The rollerblading around, the fucking teleportation, the gun, the motorcycle, it was just all all there. Badass.
Sonic was running next to him. Who does your highlights?
Yeah.
Fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
It was just like the action scenes in this movie are so good.
Then what happens after that?
So they go to Tokyo, get their ass kicked, and then they get one key to the super weapon from the gun guy.
Okay, that was kind of dumb. Okay, so
that was like so funny.
Yeah, this random dude, like he is like was it Shadow that he looks like he's fucking dying.
He looks like Joe Biden.
Yeah, he's like on the ground. He's like, ugh! And then he pulls out this key and he's like, Sonic, this is the key to the most powerful weapon on Earth that could destroy the whole planet. I won't trust it with anyone else except for Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, let's let this asshole drive by.
So, I don't know why. I think it was literally just that Sonic was the nearest person to him, and he was like, he just had to be like...
Sonic was just there, and he's like, here, 14-year-old hedgehog.
Because didn't they have, like,
fucking
they usually
super weapon.
have had, like, a vaguely antagonistic relationship with one another? Like,
with gun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they're kind of, like, unless they have, like, the common goal more than anything. I don't understand why he would trust Sonic that much. I would trust Tails with him more, but anyway.
Yes. And then also, so then that kicks off the plot of Team Sonic trying to recover trying to go get the second key for no reason.
No, they needed the 2 keys. So two people.
But why did Team Sonic want the second key?
I think they just wanted to get it before
Shadow could?
Before Shadow and Robotnik could, so that they could.
Yeah.
But
what did you think about Eggman's return?
I liked it.
He comes back in this movie. He's supposed to be dead, and then it turns out Stone, his assistant, is driving around, and they go on a chase, and they end up hanging out with Team Sonic, and it's a team up of them against Shadow to start off with. So they team up to go to the lab to track down who's been using Robotnik's robots, because there's an imposter out there.
Yeah.
They go to the lab. Eggman reunites with his grandfather, who is also played by Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
And they reference this in the movie. And it was a like decent fourth wall break. Wasn't my favorite. It was a little awkward.
It was a lot. The scenes with the 2 Robotniks were across the board very weird.
Very weird. Extremely
weird.
funny. Sometimes they were slightly awkward.
Like, the only reaction I had to a few of them was like, what the fuck are they doing?
Yeah.
Like, they're at one point they're going through this like laser area to get to the key, and then they get like, they put on these suits that reflect the lasers, and then it felt like a 3-minute scene of them just like dancing in the lasers, like doing a coordinated dance. They did a whole dirty
dancing kind of thing where like he gets picked up and spun.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really funny.
Yeah.
I thought it could have been a lot shorter though, because that was also the middle of this movie got so slow.
It did, yeah.
Because they go to the lab and they explain Shadow's backstory with Maria, and they explain the Grandpa Robotnik and all of that shit, and it's like, this matters and I care, but as a fan, I already know all this stuff.
Yeah. And like the actual action that was happening during that was very
it was so boring.
Like it really was, most of the movie was them getting that key. But I will say I don't understand exactly. I don't understand why a lot of it, really. I don't understand why they had to get the keys instead of just letting Gunn keep it and protect it. I don't see why they were breaking all of their... That makes no fucking sense. Yeah, in all honesty, that was weird. Because, like, they didn't want to use it, did they?
No!
Like, what? I don't think that they can protect it better than anyone else. They left the goddamn... They're not doing a great job at protecting the Master Emerald.
No, they're not, obviously.
No, and Sonic used it
as well. So basically they failed to go get the key, and Team Shadow, so Shadow, Robotnik, and his grandpa get the key. They get both the keys, and then they activate the weapon, and this is where shit starts getting cool.
Yeah.
They activate the weapon. Sonic and Knuckles actually have a really nice moment where Sonic is like, we need to get the Master Emerald, and Knuckles is like, we can't, we already talked about this, we had a plan, and he was like, well, the plan failed, so now we gotta do this. And Knuckles is like, they're about to fight, because Knuckles has sworn not to let anyone get the Master Emerald. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, you know what? I've also sworn to trust you, and you're my friend, and I trust that you'll do the right thing.
Yeah.
And so I was like,
he doesn't help him because he's like, he knows that he can't, like, he can't give Sonic the Master Emerald. He just can't do it. But he also just doesn't stop him.
Yeah, it's like it's like when your friend does something and you're not really in support of it, but you trust them enough that you know that it's going to be okay. Yeah, so he gets the Master Emerald, immediately gets it knocked out of him, and him and Shadow both recover parts of the Master Emerald, and so then you have the Super Shadow versus Super Sonic fight.
Yeah.
That was
awesome.
Kino. It was peak.
Awesome.
It was like Dragon Ball Z fights where they're like getting punched across continents and
this movie was way violent.
Yes. There was like cataclysmic levels of destruction going on. Yeah, Shadow was murking people in Japan.
Like genuinely shooting people, and also like he almost killed. He tried to kill Tom at one point. There's
basically but he thinks it's the Colonel.
I do wish that they had a little bit more like Shadow feeling something when that happened, because it kind of seemed like they were gonna, because he punches who he thinks is like the Colonel or whatever, and but it's actually Tom using this like cloaking device that Tails made. So once he gets punched, it turns into Tom,
and he's like, that guy was innocent. He didn't have. This isn't part of my revenge.
And he watches like Sonic like run over to him and be like, "Oh my God, Tom, no!" And like I wish that he'd have had
a little too long.
Yeah, I wish that he'd have had that Shadow had a minute where he was like looking at that and feeling like, oh my God, this is what happened to Maria, and I just did this to Sonic. And
because like it made the transformation of him after they have their Super Shadow versus Super Sonic fight. Sonic punches him to the moon.
Yeah.
And then they're on the moon, and Sonic is like about to finish him off, and he's like, no, this is wrong. Revenge isn't good. Mm-hmm. And then Shadow is like, you know what? You're right. Revenge is bad. Mm-hmm. And it's like, this would feel a lot more powerful if we kind of like saw you getting to that point.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Shadow hurts Tom. Sonic beats up Shadow and is like about to kill him and get his revenge for Tom, but then he's like, no. And that's supposed to be the big emotional arc. It would have been way better if they focused the emotional arc on Shadow instead and show how Shadow hits Tom. He doesn't really feel bad for it. Maybe he starts feeling bad for it later, thinking about him and Maria.
Yeah.
Then he starts to doubt if revenge is the right thing. Instead of having... Because it's like, I know that Sonic isn't going to be a vengeful spirit.
I also wish that...
There was no, like... I knew he was never going to go to the dark side, but it would be more interesting to see Shadow come to the light.
Yeah, and I also have to say, I wish that they had made it more that Shadow had, like, a defined goal of revenge instead of just being like, yeah, I'll help you destroy the entire world. Yeah. That felt like a lot, because I don't think he had a valid, like, a reason to destroy the entire world, especially if, like, I don't know, they also never really, like, were like, Shadow, you can't destroy the world, because, like, they could have been like, there are other people like Maria there.
It was like, literally never like that. It was like he thought that they were gonna blow up Gunn, and be done. And then Robotnik's like, actually, we're gonna blow up the whole fucking world. And he's like, oh, I don't care.
Yeah.
But then like 15 minutes later, he's willing to sacrifice himself to save the world. That he was just like, I don't fucking care.
Yeah, no, and they weren't like, Shadow, you shouldn't destroy the world because there are innocent people. They were like, Shadow, revenge isn't the answer.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Also, I feel like there was some very lazy writing in this movie.
Yeah.
Especially with the ending. Shadow and Eggman's sacrifice kind of felt dumb. They shut down the weapon, but like while they're doing that, they cut a whole sliver of the moon off.
They do.
And then they're like, the thing is gonna explode. And they're like, oh, well, that's okay. But then he's like, oh, it'll kill all life on Earth still if it explodes. So that's the setup for Sonic or Shadow and Robotnik's sacrifice. But I feel like, first of all, you already ended the major threat.
Yeah.
You also just cut the moon in half. You could have had them sacrifice themselves stopping that. I think they just wanted to use that cool explosion into a galaxy thing.
Yeah.
Just so they could be like, even when the star shines, the star's light still shines even when it's gone.
And they didn't even really hit that mark either.
No, they didn't. No. I feel like it would have been better if, like, they saved it and then, broke the moon in half, and then everybody saw them as a villain, and they were like, even though people still see us as a villain, we need to go save the world, even if we'll never get credit.
Yeah.
Like, that would have made that sacrifice feel more earned.
Yeah.
It didn't really feel all that earned. It felt earned for Eggman, because I loved his character in this movie. Seeing him interact with his grandpa was really funny.
Fun. Yeah. I liked when he got spanked with a paddle.
Oh my god! The weirdest scene ever!
Why that was happening?
Ever!
Do you? But like,
So
somehow...
It cuts from Sonic and Shadow fighting on the moon. Shadow's like, revenge isn't right. I understand now.
Like, it's this big dramatic emotional
It's
kind
so
of scene.
huge, and then it just cuts to Jim Carrey
Like,
spanking another Jim Carrey over his knee. He's literally
It's like, I get that they were like fighting, but how did he at any point get into that position?
with the giant fucking Green Lantern
I feel
hand.
like that's like the easiest pit. Like, you
was
can't
just-
get out of that. Like, that's so easy
It was-
to like move if you're getting spanked over something.
I think that was like the writers being like, do not take this shit seriously.
Yeah.
That was them being like, yeah, all that, like, Shadow's so like edgy. He is no more serious. They're not taking him any more serious than any of the other characters, which I kind of enjoy. It adds this cuteness to it where Shadow wants to be all serious, but then they still have him saying shit like revenge guac. And like they still have him being like cringy and goofy.
Yeah.
And I really like it. I'm glad that they didn't try to over seriousness him. I'm also glad
my
that they
favorite thing about the
didn't
series.
over joke him.
No, because like the series gets so much room that I will be like, the writing makes no sense. There are like 20 plot holes in it because what they need to hit in each movie, and they know this, is how badass it is, how cute they are, and how fun it is.
Yeah.
It just has to be cute, badass, fun,
And
and they hit all the marks the best in this movie, I think.
I agree. That middle portion was really slow, especially the heist. That whole heist portion.
Yeah. I did not care for it. There was like 4 times where it was like,
Yeah.
ooh, their masking thing is malfunctioning. Ooh, are they gonna get caught? Ooh, they're disguised as this person, but the real one's showing up. And I'm like, you could have done one of those. Like,
Yeah. Also, when I was I watched that movie with somebody, or I watched that part with someone who hadn't seen the first ones, so they don't know about Tom's wife's sister and her husband and like those characters. And basically, Tom's wife's sister, I don't know the wife's name, I really should.
Maddie.
Maddie's sister is a sassy black woman, and they were watching this where, like, Maddie's transformed into her sister undercover, and she uses the sassy black woman swag to get them into somewhere. And somebody was watching that, and they were like, that's so stereotypical.
It is.
And I was like, oh, yeah. Actually, because I was like, no, it's fine because, like, that's her sister and it's supposed to be played for laughs. And it's like, no, that is still, like, they're still pushing that stereotype really hard.
Yeah, and the fact that, like, she's supposed to be unlikable for that feature. And, like,
Yeah,
it's just so...
she's
I don't
supposed to
like-
be seen as
yeah.
mean and scary.
I don't like that part. But I also just don't fucking care about the humans at any point. Like, and I don't know why they even
I like
have...
Stone.
I like Stone. Stone's
See,
the only one who I feel like
it's like some of the people in that feel like they're part of the Sonic universe. Like the general, when he was like, Sonic, Tails, we needed to meet here, utmost secrecy, and they're in a Chow Garden cafe.
Yeah.
Like it's like those human characters that feel like they're part of the Sonic world. I really enjoyed, but like Tom and Maddie don't feel like that. They feel like humans interacting with Sonic characters.
Every single time that I see the two of them, like the second that they are in the scene, it suddenly turns into like a fucking insurance ad in my head. They look and act like they are in an advertisement at all times. Like even the fucking lighting when they're in the scenes.
Yeah.
Like, and like the framing, it literally looks like an ad at times. I don't know why.
I don't know why either. A lot of those scenes of them camping at the beginning felt like car ads.
Yeah.
I think that they were going for something like that, where they were just like, let's get some pure Americana, like this, like you're out camping with your the kids, throwing the football, like American dream, white people shit.
But it looks like at any point they're about to pull out like a container of Tide and be like...
In the Chow Garden, there's like, first of all, that whole section is just an advertisement for the actual Chow Garden cafe in Japan.
There can't be a Sonic movie without a like really obvious advertisement in it.
Yeah, and like that, I understand that, and you know, movies have been doing that forever.
The Zillow ones in the first one were crazy.
The Zillow ones were insane, and the Olive Garden.
Zillow.
The Olive Garden.
They weren't sponsored by Olive Garden. They just did that, which makes it so much funnier.
That is good. After credits scene.
Awesome.
Metal Sonic and Amy.
Metal Sonic and Amy.
Fucking awesome. Literally, when
So
me and
exciting.
Friday first saw Amy, both of us looked at each other and we were like, she's so cute!
Like, in sync, I couldn't not say
Because
that.
she was
Adorable,
and undeniably so. It was, like, I'm so excited for the fourth one.
I really hope that they don't make her although I've got high hopes because they showed how strong she was immediately.
Yeah.
They were like, she is coming to the rescue, she is slamming that hammer down. So
I hope she kicks butt, but I also hope they don't make her, like, overpowered and give her no real challenges.
Yeah. And I hope that they get the line between, because I think that they do, I have high hopes for it because they generally do this with, like, how they did with Knuckles, where they are at the perfect sweet spot of, like, of dumb and not, like, they don't go way too far with it like they do
he's not
a lot
Patrick
of things.
Star.
Yeah, he's not Patrick Star, he's just, like, a little confused about some things.
But he got spirit.
Yeah, and it's like, it's not because he's dumb, it's just that he is, like, does not recognize anything that's going on. Mm-hmm. Or, like, because he's from a different planet.
Yeah. It gives less of, like, a you're slow sort of vibe and more of a you aren't from this culture.
Yeah, because it's like, it doesn't feel like we're supposed to make fun of him. It's that it's like, oh, that's cute, how he just is like, I am having the fun.
I am having the fun. I am feeling the loves.
Yeah, it's so cute. But, yeah, so I hope that they do a similar, they get, like, the sweet spot of Amy liking Sonic, but don't turn her into just, like, that's her whole thing. But I also hope that they keep that, because it is prevalent.
I like her chasing after Sonic and Sonic being like, what the fuck?
It's kind of fun. I mean, actually, you know what, now that I think about it, I think I can live without it. If they add it, then they add it. If they don't, then, like, I feel like it's...
It is kind of, like, dated.
Yeah.
Because it's, like, in the cartoon, not the Sonic Boom cartoon, but the one before that, she pretty much, her whole thing is just that she's obsessed with Sonic.
Yeah.
And that she, like, chases after him.
Yeah, and I trust that they won't do that.
Yeah.
But,
I hope they don't either. If they add fucking Vector to that movie, I'm protesting. I hate Vector.
You hate Vector?
I hate Vector.
Really?
He's fucking lame. He's a stupid alligator. He's lame.
I don't feel passionately either way about Vector. I could take him.
He's like fake
I always
Tails.
forget about him.
Yeah,
something about him feels like he doesn't fit within the other Sonic characters.
Which characters do you want to show up in Sonic 4, and which ones do you want them to completely never bring into the story?
I want Silver and Blaze to show up more than anything. Specifically Blaze, I want to show up. I love her. And Silver. I love both of them. I don't care much for Cream the Rabbit.
I think I remember her.
I don't know why, but I feel like I've never been the biggest fan. I don't know how I feel about Big the Cat, because Big the Cat has always been such a weird feature in Sonic.
He
doesn't
always
look right.
weird, and he's always he talks and he's hi Sonic. Like
weird.
he is the Patrick Star.
Like he seems like the imaginary friend of them. Like he doesn't fit right into the world. Like he doesn't have the same art style.
I think if they acknowledge how fucking weird he is as a character, he would work so well.
Yeah, if they like stumble across him in somewhere, like ew.
Hey Sonic.
He's like, I don't
the
know
way
you.
he talks, that just everything about him is kind of
just
annoying
odd.
and grating.
Yeah.
But it's like so odd and weird
he's
that
so
it could be
strange
funny
that
if they treated him like a fucking weirdo in the movie. I would appreciate it.
They were like, "Who's this freak?" Yeah, I like that. There's like a wolf.
How do you feel about Rouge?
Oh my god, I almost forgot about her. Yeah.
They need to bring her in. Oh, also they need to bring Shadow back. That self-sacrifice was so lame. He's not dead. I don't believe it.
Shadow needs to come back because I need Shadow and Rouge together.
Yes, I need
my
emo
so
dude
surprised that they
and
didn't
big
add
titty
her.
goth.
They should have really added her in this movie. But if she I think the fact that Rouge hasn't interacted with Shadow and they probably will add her at some point, points to Shadow still being alive, because I feel like it would be a weird choice of them to add Rouge later and not have Shadow there when she shows up.
They could do something like with the Knuckles show, but like with Shadow and like they add Rouge there. That would be incredible.
Because I'm hoping that they do the same thing that they did this last round, where they have a show in between the movies coming out.
Yeah.
But I don't know how well the Knuckles show did. I don't think it did too well. Most people I know haven't watched it.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Although I think probably kids watched it. It was the Knuckles show was really weird. It had a lot of moments that I was just like, what the fuck is going? You need to watch the Knuckles show.
I'll check it out. Do you have anything else to say about the movie?
No, I think we've covered all the bases that I can think of.
What would you give it out of so from -10 up until 10, with negative ones being you ironically enjoyed it, positive ones being you unironically enjoyed it, the closer to 0, the less you enjoyed it?
I'd say I ironically enjoyed it at like a -4, and I unironically enjoyed it at a 8.
Yeah. I think I would place this one. I had a lot of unironic enjoyment. It was a really funny movie. I don't think there was any part of me that was hate watching it.
Yeah,
or,
exactly.
Came at it in like a unsincere way. I would give it probably like a 7. I would give it more if it didn't have that really boring middle arc. Actually, yeah, I think a 7's right. For me, I'm pretty strict. This is for future reference, but a 5 is a perfectly passable movie.
Yeah.
Anything below a 5, I did not really truly enjoy watching. Anything above a 5, I enjoyed watching.
Yeah, because I genuinely enjoyed it because it was badass, because Tails was adorable, because they were all adorable, they were all badass, they were awesome, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I thought that the Jim Carrey scenes were really goofy. I thought that the dialogue between pretty much all of the Sonic characters was really charming and very cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, that's about it. Until tomorrow, freaks.